those fundraisers. I'm Dawn Lego. It's time to buckle up for a new episode of Raise Nation, the one and only podcast made to inspire fundraisers like you to continue making impact in our communities, building better tomorrows and exchanging ideas. So whether you're a trailblazer or seasoned pro, you'll pick up the trends that transform your fundraising. Together, we'll dive into lively conversations and chat with industry-leading fundraisers and thought leaders to explore hot-button issues and innovative ideas. So stay with us for the next 30 minutes while we inspire you to embrace the future of fundraising. So let's get going. Welcome back to our It's a Gift series with my co-host, Kristen. Hi, Kristen. How you doing today?
Hello.
So great to have you back. So we started this in March, and here we are 1 month later. How quickly the months go by. But I love this because we just get to talk about what's going on with generosity and our causes and missions out there. And I just love having you on the show. I love co-hosting with you. So much going on in April, though. Have you seen that? It's crazy.
I have seen a lot. It looks really like a good month. I'm super excited about it. I think it's an awesome month to lead into the summer fundraising craze. And I think there's a lot to be done.
Yeah, a lot of work to be done. I don't know why April has got such a long list, but yeah, it's a big one. So nice to cast a little shine on what's going on, especially since there's just some, general days like, that April Fool's Day. Don't be playing any big fools on me on what is that, Friday? Don't.
I'm not going to.
Okay,
I do realize when we send out emails, I'm like, should we be sending them out on April Fools or will people not take it seriously?
Yeah, good point. Let's just skip that day. Yeah, I don't like pranks. Well, I do like them only if they're not on me. Like when they're on somebody else, that's funny, but not me.
I do not like surprises, so pranks are not my thing. I'm like, I need to know my Christmas presents beforehand. Presents.
Tell me you peaked when you were a kid. You didn't peak when you were a kid. Like,
are you kidding? Of course I did. And I told my mom I knew who Santa was when I was 8, and then I stopped getting Santa gifts. So I was a little upset about that, but.
Kristen,
I don't like surprises. I need to know so that I can anticipate. And if I don't do it,
I love Mr. Claus and everything he represents, and I believe wholeheartedly, and so I still get the gifts, which is kind of cool.
I lost them.
Kristen.
And Tooth Fairy money. My mom's a savage.
We're talking. Is your mom going to listen to this? Is she going to hear all this?
Not a savage. Lovely.
We do have a lot of fun things going on in April. It's actually Earth Day. Got to take care of your Earth. Do you recycle, Kristen?
What day is that?
It's the 22nd. My mom's birthday. Big shout out to Barbara Michaels. Happy birthday. It's my mom's birthday, April 22nd with Earth Day. But how you doing with your recycling and all that good stuff?
Good. I mean, I have so much to recycle. I feel like I need to be better as far as using too much plastic. Sometimes I get water bottles just because it's easy, but I just got a new fridge that now has water. So that's been a good transition in helping me do less. But I love Earth Day. I always think it's...
Oh, who's in the background? I think somebody else likes Earth Day. Which one of your fur friends is that?
That's Poet. If you ever want someone to interrupt.
Protect you? But Poet can join the conversation. It's all good. Hey, so you're in Indiana, right? I'm in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. Do you have to bring your own bags now to the grocery stores?
No. Indiana is way far behind on that, but we do have options of doing that.
Yeah. So I think for me, that's changing in May. And at first I was like, are you kidding me? But then I don't know. I go to Home Goods, and when you check out at Home Goods, shout out to Home Goods. They have at the checkout, they have all these cool bags with, scenes of, Champs-Élysées and you just all these beautiful bags, and they're not expensive. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy a half a dozen of them or so, just leave them in my car. And that's really something. Yeah. Is it really that big of a deal for me to get my cart, put some bags in there, and like, is it really that big of? It's not. It's just
so
not
nice, actually, because they're like durable and sturdy, and so like you're not like. I feel like my bags always rip when I'm at the grocery store. When I like
too.
double bag. So it's not like, I think it's kind of nice. I hate paying for it right away, but then once I get over that initial, and then remembering it, I hate that part too. But once I get over that initial hump, I'm like, oh, this is nice. Like, this is a big bag. It's sturdy. It's nice.
I'm with you, because if I go to get milk, that gallon of milk will break the bag. So not only am I wasting one bag, but I'm wasting two bags, right? And then, I come home and I throw them out, and I'm like, well, it's the same effort. I'm taking the milk, I'm putting it into a bag. It's probably more effort because I'm double bagging it. So what's the difference if I carry a bag in? That's the only difference. And then I'm still putting the milk in a bag, and it's just like not that hard. And I wish I had some statistics. If 100 people brought in their own bags, what does that do for the earth? Right.
Well, I bet there is a statistic on that.
I'm sure we should have looked that up before our podcast. All right. We'll have to look that up for sure.
Probably. There's the only loss I will say, if I had to bring my own bag, is that I won't have poop bags then. How will I use the bags. I need them.
All right.
Stored away in my bag drawer, and I use them for dog poo.
Well, at least you're recycling. I mean, in one way, you have to look at it that way.
No, nothing goes to waste.
No, nothing goes to waste. What else do we have going on in April? It's National Volunteer Month. And so let's thank, we're in the fundraising space. Isn't it a great time to thank all of the volunteers that keep these missions and causes going and running, and events and mailings and cleaning and everything that volunteers do to keep programming and fundraising alive? So let's take a moment to applaud and thank all the volunteers out there. And fundraisers, if you didn't know that April was National Volunteer Month, well, now you know. And maybe it's a good month to do something for all your volunteers.
That's actually like that's a good point. I remember when I worked with volunteers when I was a community outreach manager, and it wasn't brought up enough how much we appreciated it, just because you're so busy and everything's moving so fast. And it's you give the appreciation, but having that one week of appreciation week where you can set time dedicated to showing your appreciation and rallying them back up, I think that's super important. And I think it could definitely use some more light. I would love to see people sharing TikToks on behind the scenes volunteer work, behind the scenes, meet the volunteers and listening to their whys, that would be super cool. Why do you volunteer? Because volunteering, that's your time, that's the biggest, for me, that's such a love language, to give my time. So for volunteers, it's well, how did you choose this, and why do you choose to do it? And, how long have you been?
Stories.
Yeah.
Well, I love what you said, because I think TikTok is such a, let's talk about that for a second, because we're both excited about TikTok, but it's such a platform of authenticity, right? Mm-hmm. And we learned, so shout out to Kristen for a great presentation last week. We had a webinar on this very topic at One Cause, and it was how to leverage TikTok for fundraising success, right? They're not 15-second dances anymore. TikTok is the go-to place for just about everything right now. Education on anything, messaging, but it's very easy and authentic. And you want to talk about that webinar from last week, because you had a presentation and it was fantastic. And it was, oh my God, we had hundreds of people.
It was great. It was really cool, the webinar in general, thinking about it, because we have Gen X, we have Millennial, and Gen Z all talking. So we got 3 different generations, all different points of views, and all different knowledge of technology, right? Social media, whatever. everyone has different knowledge. And we all have kind of played a different role. And I found it interesting talking like thinking about it on a nonprofit side and also on a supporter side. Like just like talking to them about how it's working for them. And then they brought up like donations and stuff and like the importance of connecting with people there. And I was thinking, as a user, I promote a nonprofit on my like profile page, Mm-hmm. And I never really thought about that deep until this conversation, and realizing that can open up so many gates. And then just in general, the little awareness and engagement that they're getting from tweets, that they're getting from just real life conversations. I really liked
Dana, I think with Dana Marlowe from I Support the Girls. Yeah.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
And I really liked what she had to say about all of it. And I loved her like real examples. Like they were so easy.
Authentic, easy.
Yeah. Put your, like, you don't have to brand this. I mean, you do in the back of your mind, like don't post anything outrageous that doesn't represent you, but you don't have to overthink it. And that's the point of TikTok. It can be 30 seconds. It can be 15 seconds. It's fast paced. It's digestible. It's reaching people that are interested in you naturally, organically. Like you don't have to do the work. It does the work for you. And so like this.
Hey, poet.
So like this like entire webinar I thought was absolutely amazing. And I'm super excited to see more nonprofits get on board. And I hope everyone watches it. And I hope that they get some good takeaways. I think there are so many things that, so many good points that were made. And also like so many questions came up. I can't wait to answer, like it truly
fantastic. Oh, just for our audience, because I think we've probably piqued their interest. How can they get it? Is it evergreen? The recording, is it available on onecause.com?
Yep,
right?
onecause.com on our webinar resource page.
Oh, great. Yeah. That was fantastic. I mean, we had hundreds of people, and the questions and the chat, I remember, just was fantastic. And you're such an expert authority. Kay Johnson Lee at onecause.com if you want any TikTok tips. But I think that's a fun platform. And back to the point, it's such a great place to tell your stories about your volunteers and to speak to them, through a platform that's just fun, right?
Actually, now that we're talking about it and thinking about it, one thing that has been popping up over and over like recently on my TikTok is actually autism, with Autism Awareness Month. That's very relevant. But also, I've learned so much about autism and how like people don't know about it. And like, I didn't even know about it as much as I've learned like recently. And I think that's really cool. Like that's just another example of things just reaching people on a day-to-day. And I'm learning and I'm engaging and I'm even more interested and excited to help organizations connected to that cause.
Well, April is actually Autism Awareness Month, and April 2nd is World Autism Day. And we actually have the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation on this very podcast, just talking about living life to its fullest. Because, people are people and we kind of all deserve that, right? We have one go around, and whether, the neurodiverse should have every opportunity as anybody else. And I think we miss that point sometimes. There's such a separation, of, disabled, just if you have challenges or disabilities, there seems to be that separation. But I love what the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation stands for, in that they're like, well, whatever experiences are out there, let's let the neurodiverse population experience it too. And it's so simple, but yet so profound. Like you would think in the year 2022 that we're over that, right? Like that we kind of are accepting. I mean, personally, I'll share with you, I do have a son with special needs. And, I was at Grand Central Station. My daughter, Alyssa, everybody knows my daughter, Alyssa, by now, but my daughter, Alyssa, had something going on in New York. So I brought Michael along, Kristen, for, the experience. He loves Madagascar. And so when he heard that he can go to Grand Central Station, he wanted to go, right? I think he had a different view in his mind, like, the Madagascar version of Grand Central Station.
Let down a little?
Well, I don't think he was I would say actually he was let down, but I think it was more like he didn't expect to, I think that he thought he was going to see all of his favorite characters and not so many people buzzing. So it wasn't the best experience in the world. It was a little sensory overload, right? He was having a hard time. But I was in line, Kristen, at the ice cream store, at the ice cream, because I was like, now, okay, what are we going to do? Right. So I went to, get some ice cream. He's having a really hard time. Lots of people, lots of moving. Everything's moving fast, talking fast. You could just imagine, right? Yeah. So I had a grown woman, Kristen, behind me. And I'm not having my best day, right? Like my son's having a hard time. It's a letdown experience. I'm not with my daughter who's doing something else, right? I'm carrying all this stuff. I'm sweating. I'm like, oh my God, let me just get some ice cream and, regroup. But I was a little bit separated from Michael. So any onlookers may not connect us as being together. And Michael was just like a little bit agitated. The woman behind me kind of like nudged me and did this like eye roll and nod towards my son. Like, look at this guy and what's going on with him. And maybe there's something wrong with him. Kristen, it was such a low moment in my life, because I got defensive. I was like mama bear. And then she finally said, do you know that person? Like with all these facial expressions. And I was like, yeah, he's my son. And then she dissed me. She then turned her glance away and just pretended I didn't exist.
Serious?
Oh my God. This is such a real story. This is 100% true. I'm probably going light on how dramatic it was. And, to all the people out there that are raising individuals with special needs, like my heart goes out to you, because not only are you dealing with every single emotion that you could think of, but on top of it, to not have support of your community and to have embarrassment and all of those other things is just unfair. So April's really important, right? Like we need to not just be aware, but we need to be a little bit more accepting.
Absolutely. And like in that moment, what you needed is a word of kindness, whatever that is, like just kindness from someone, just like, hey, it's okay. Like, or just ignore you, or simply don't put someone else down. I can't believe that happened. That's so hard. Like, I can't imagine dealing with that on the way that you do, period.
And you know what? It happens all the time, really. That's just one example of many, but maybe the good news is April 11th is Good Deeds Day, right? Maybe that's our opportunity to put 1 and 2 together, and just be that good deed. There's just so much. We talked about this last month, right, Kristen? There's just still so much judgment and discrimination in our world, despite every post, every newscast, everything saying that we need to be inclusive, right? There's all this talk about inclusivity. just do a good deed, whether it's an elderly person, whether it's a special needs person, whether it's somebody that just doesn't look like you. It's okay. It's okay. You could be kind to them, right? Like, why not?
Yeah. I mean, because as far as like how far we've come, it's like with these things that we're not accepting or we're seeing as negatives or however our view is, it's just differences in humans. And like the important thing is that we're all human and we're all different. So where we fall on how different we are from you doesn't mean that we are lesser than you. It means that we are different than you. It means that people with autism are different than you. They learn differently than you. And that's okay because everyone learns differently. They socialize different, like whatever it is, you could tell me, there are differences in all of us, and people just forget to kind of find that like connection of humanity and accept that. And if we could just do that as like a general, then I think everyone would just be happier.
Yeah, I don't, I mean, what if we didn't have differences, right? What if we didn't have differences? We'd all be eating vanilla ice cream, right? Like, it just, embrace the differences, right? Because there's a lot of ice cream flavors out there. And girl, I like to mix my ice cream flavors. I like pistachio mixed with butter pecan, mixed with, I don't want to eat vanilla ice cream, right? So like, I don't know that there's any two people that aren't different. So just because they don't look like you or act like you or, and of course we draw the line, with maybe, violence or aggression. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that kind of difference is not acceptable, but we have a judicial system for that. Yeah. But, just, I don't know.
The differences that you can't control are the ones that impact you so much. The differences you cannot control. Like in autism, those are differences that cannot be controlled. That is how they're born. Race, that is how people are born. Sexuality, that is how people are born, whether or not people agree with that. That is it. Like all these things are differences that you're born with. So it's just so important to remember that we're all human. But I like your
humanity
analogy. And I was thinking, I have been on an ice cream binger this week.
Uh-oh. What kind of ice cream?
What kind do I eat now? Yeah. Like, I'm curious. I love a good Klondike bar, but not just your normal. Yes. I have the original, but I like the mint chip ones, but they're not.
I like the crunchy, when they have little crunchies in the chocolate. Yeah.
The Heath. Those are good.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting enough out of the Klondike bar this week. I needed a bigger bowl. So I bought a tub of mint and chocolate chip.
You like mint chocolate chip? I'm coming to your house.
And then I bought the magic shell to put on top. So
you did not.
It was like a Klondike bar is awesome, but I ate it all. But
you know what I've been doing? Trying late because, ice cream doesn't do great for my figure. You don't have to worry about that. I do. But I've been doing chocolate covered frozen bananas is my little treat. Yeah.
I like that.
There's
been
my little
hummus too. That
there is
strawberries in. So good. Yeah.
Do you know it's okay. Fundraising world. I got to tell you a little secret about Kristen. Sometimes when we have internal meetings, she'll have her little breakfast, lunch, or dinner with her. And she's got the best thing. She has turned, what was that one that you have like this granola with strawberries? And what is that concoction?
That's my steel cut oats with some strawberries, brown sugar.
Oh, the brown sugar. Right.
Pecans.
Right. I stole that from you. It was really good.
I was I got Starbucks, but I normally have that every day.
Oh God, we're always shouting out to Starbucks too.
I know. Sorry.
So the other thing about April is that it's the what comes after April is Mother's Day, right? Mm-hmm. So for the fundraisers out there, this is the best time of year to spin up a Mother's Day tribute or Mother's Day. Let's just think about it. There's not one mission or cause out there that doesn't have supporters who are moms or daughters or that are celebrating Mother's Day in some capacity. So you could so easily just spin up especially if you have the One Cause a little shout out there for One Cause technology. But if you have a subscription that gives you the opportunity to do an auction or an online fundraiser, you can easily do that and pay tribute to moms, right? $1 donation and put up some kind of, ticker message or we've been seeing a lot of holiday auctions with some of our partners here at One Cause, like Jewels with a Purpose, who have zero risk auction items. So it's just a great opportunity. So think about that. Or a tribute to your volunteers, because really April is right before Mother's Day. April is for volunteers. So what a great way to spin up a fundraiser in tribute to all the moms and volunteers out there. Incremental fundraising. So wanted to throw that out there.
No, that's important. And that's also like just in general, other than Mother's Day, like when we talked about this campaign, I was like, oh yeah, like people can do this for any of these awareness, like just setting it up like that in the no risk thing, like just allows you to do it without patient and also the footwork. Like the one stressful thing for me when thinking about fundraising was the footwork. Like, oh, I can't do a campaign. That is way too much work. I got to find people to donate the items. I have to find this. I have to find that. Then I have to import all the data. And then I have to run the event. Then I have to get the stuff and get it to them. But
exhausting.
Free, you told me you have support. You have support.
I know. Well, I'll be honest. So Alyssa's foundation did just that. They have a Mother's Day tribute. It was super easy. They spun up an online site. They worked with one of the One Cause partners. They dropped in all of these great jewelry packages, handbags, and like within a couple of hours had a fundraiser they're running it the whole month long. Leading up to Mother's Day, people have to shop for gifts anyway, right? Like think about it. You're trying to come up with something good, unique, different to honor your mom. Yes, you got the flowers and the chocolates but a nice piece of jewelry or sunglasses or a handbag. Yeah. And then to imagine that giving that gift to your mom and saying, hey, listen, you know what? This is not available in stores. It's only to the nonprofit community, but in buying this gift for you, I was able to make a donation to a cause. It's like a double gift, it's like two gifts in one. Just super cool.
That's really cool. I loved talking about that. I'm looking at what else is going on in general this month. And here's a fun one. Immunodeficiency Awareness Month.
Immunodeficiency Awareness Month. Wow, that's a mouthful.
But that is probably a really important one since we are, just coming out of this pandemic. Like, let's not forget about those people that have gone through quite, like everyone went through a heck of a few years, but
yeah. Immunodeficiency. I mean, what a scare for them. We were all scared. I never experienced anxiety in my life like I did those early March, April, May days of 2020. And I don't, I really have a new awareness for those people that suffer from anxiety, because it's not something that I personally struggled with my whole life. But I did have temporary, I don't want to say like I had anxiety. I think I had some of those feelings that are symptoms, of anxiety during that period. I think we all did. Right. Yeah. And I can't imagine just what we were feeling. And then knowing that you were deficient, your immune system was deficient on top of that. I can't imagine the scare that I would have had because I was scared.
Crazy. That's when it started, that was when Tiffany, my partner, was, her cancer came back and it had spread. And so she was going through chemo again. She went through then more radiation. She went through all of that. And I'm thinking, I was like so anxious all the time, bringing food into the house. Like, what is going to happen that's not going to go well, especially with her being so sick? It was like scary. It was scary every single day, like scary going to the hospital, scary going. Well, we didn't go anywhere except for the hospital, but we still had to go there every day. So it was crazy. I have generalized anxiety. I've had it my whole life, but this just like was a completely new world.
Yeah. New universe. It was an alternate universe for sure.
Yeah.
When did Tiffany pass? I don't.
August 2020.
Oh God, Kristen.
I know. I can't believe that happened at the beginning of COVID. And I remember saying, I think this is going to be like in the US next. Like I remember watching That Far Out, right? I remember sitting there with her and being like, oh, like when it came to the States, then us talking about it, then it changed the whole hospital experience and what that was like. We have our dog, we got our dog Asher. He came to the hospital and stuff with us. He would sleep in the hospital. He was emotional support for her. It was because she was in the hospital all the time. But
oh God.
then he couldn't come anymore. And then I couldn't come anymore. So I'd just sit and work in the car and like wave up to the window. And
God, Kristen,
fluids.
You're killing me.
It was hard. It was a hard experience. And I know that, there's so many, I would be in the parking lot and there was a line full of all of us caregivers just in the parking lot doing the same thing, And so I know like there's so many people that went through that too. And it just, that hurts. That's hard. Everyone went through so many different things.
Yeah. But to be sick and to, I know she needed you and you needed to be there for her. And, COVID separating you is just.
Well, when it was, when they realized that she was closer to not being around, to dying, I started being able to go up with her to keep her company when she was getting fluids. But that was maybe the last 2 weeks of her life. And then she went into hospice. And then I was there all the time, obviously.
Yeah, we know you were. We went through that with you. I feel like I'm going to cry. We can have a moment of silence for Tiffany, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Tiffany, you're missed a lot. I'm sorry, Kristen.
It's okay. It's okay. It's hard every single day. But it has like brought so much passion into, like we connected on passion and stuff and nonprofits and like giving back. And so it's brought me into more passion. Like I've talked before, I know I talked last time, like cervical cancer awareness, like getting that out there. Like that's why, like she really pushed me to apply for one cause. She was like, that is everything that you believe in. Like, and I was like, yeah, that is what I want to do. And she's like, you would absolutely love that. Like, don't just use your skills in one thing when you can use them for so many nonprofits. And we're always trying to do more. And like, it feels, good that I'm still doing that. It's like still having a piece of her,
Well, we carry a piece of Tiffany for sure on our marketing team, right? We talk about her a lot.
Yeah.
I don't want to say a silver lining. That's just a bad choice of words, but, we do have Taryn in our lives now, which is amazing. And we do have you part of the marketing team. I don't know what we would do without you. You're responsible for a lot of our campaigns and our new media. And it's just such a blessing. So, I guess life goes on and we do find some golden nuggets even after the sadness.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've wrapped up April, pretty much. I always love talking to you, to our audience out there. This was podcast was really a dream for both Kristen and I. And, I started off in front of the scenes with Kristen behind the scenes when we launched this together in September with our RAISE conference. Hey, big shout out to RAISE. We're going back to Chicago. RAISE. Yep. Check it out. But now, I don't touch behind the scenes. That's all Kristen, but I'm so glad Kristen has joined me, as a co-host, but we want to hear from you, right?
Sure.
What do you want to hear? Yeah. What do you want to know? What topics do we need to cover? What content, what stories? If you're out there listening and you'd like to be a guest on the show, hit either one of us up. We want to talk to you, keep the conversations going, keep them real, keep them authentic. So, she's Kay Johnson Lee at onecause.com. I'm DLego at onecause.com. We'd really love to hear from you. Right, Kristen?
I would love that. Absolutely.
Keep it going.
Give us all your questions. And if you want to join us, please let's have some coffee and talk fundraising.
Yeah. Sure. Well, we are going to meet again next month. We thought April had a big lineup. Wait till you see May. We touched on Mother's Day already, but there's an even bigger lineup in May, like Mental Health Awareness Month. But we'll save that conversation until we meet again, probably 30 days from now. We drop new episodes every Thursday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? Kristen's very diligent about that. So we will probably catch you again in another month or so. Kristen, anything to add before I do our little outro?
Nope. Keep on fundraising.
That's all right. Well, Fearless Fundraisers, that's about all we have time for today. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's Raise Nation topic and your daily dose of fundraising inspiration. Kristen and I are always just very excited to talk anything fundraising. Tune in for a new episode release every Thursday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Thursdays, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. In the meantime, though, be sure to listen to all the episodes on Raise Nation Radio. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, and of course at onecause.com. Follow the channel that you like the best so that you can get notifications about all our new guests and episodes. We know that all you fundraisers are doing amazing things to build better tomorrows for our communities. Your stories are awe-inspiring, and so we don't want to miss a single episode. I'd like to thank our sponsor, One Cause, for making this episode possible. One Cause is driving the future of fundraising with easy-to-use software solutions that help nonprofits connect with donors. Check us out, onecause.com, and visit the resource tabs. We talked about Kristen's webinar, TikTok webinar. You'll see that resources, webinars, and then go to the TikTok one. You won't want to miss that evergreen session. We also have a broad catalog of ebooks and blogs, and of course, the Raise Nation Radio podcast. Kristen, thank you. I love doing this show with you. Thanks for your authenticity and just contributing. We're going to do this again next month, same time, same place. Great. I truly enjoyed our conversation. So audience, connect with us. We'd love to have you on the show. Until then, that's a wrap. She's Kristen. I'm Dawn. This is Raise Nation Radio. Stay fearless out there.